All right, here we go, people. As we always say, hope everyone's happy, healthy, doing well, successful, winning at life. We got the compo notebook out tonight. We may not even get into the Bill Maher reaction. It just ended. But there was a lot of good content on there because there's a lot to talk about. First, the European football results. In all the continental tournaments, the Conference League, the Europa League, the Champions League. We're going to talk about the New York Knicks for a little bit, and you know who's always going to be involved in that conversation, yeah? When you see the badge and you see the Oshkosh Bagosh bucket, because remember, yeah, when you see this and this, you know what's going to happen. As Cameron said, and I really mean it, diplomatic immunity. Let's have it right. Lock My Garage, Rock My Massage, Fuck It Bucket by Oshkosh Bagosh. That means people are going to get mudded tonight. So we may not even get to Bill Maher. I apologize for that, just straight out of the gate. In the background, we have the Winnipeg Jets Dallas Stars game. Winnipeg is winning 3-0. Just right after Bill Maher ended, the Florida Panthers won in overtime against Toronto Maple Leafs. Needed that win. Florida needed that win badly. So now that's a series. That would have been 3-0, but now it's 3-1. And yeah, so where do we begin? Shall we start with Chelsea Football Club? Shall we start with Arsenal Football Club? Shall we start with Manchester United Football Club? Shall we start with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, better known as Spursy? Yeah, let's start with Spursy first. If Spursy win this European final and get into the Champions League after finishing that low, because it's Spursy against United. United. It's gonna either way. It sucks for me. It's gonna be bullshit. Now, who do we want to win? I'm going. As much as it pains me to praise Man United, they better win that game. I can't have Spursy winning a trophy. I actually rather Man United win that game. But I'm gonna snap either way. Either one of those teams. Maybe it's more so. I'm gonna make the case for both. Spursy, I just hate Spursy. And I just don't have anything to do with Spursy. I don't want anything to do with them. Now, if they make the Champions League and finish 16th and win a European trophy, something we haven't done since the Cup Winners' Cup, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm really going to lose my mind. I can't have it. I fucking won't have it. United, still the same. Manager in half a season. What phase is he in? What phase is Ruben Emmer in it? They brought in a new manager halfway through, and they're going to win a trophy for the third straight season. And qualify for the Champions League and finish 15th or 16th in the league. With the worst Man United team I've ever seen since I was born. Factually. It's just really a shit sandwich I'm about to eat. I'm about to eat once that final is played. I don't know. Can the game get... I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. That was going to be wildly inappropriate. I don't know. I still think I would rather United win. They've already mudded us with trophies under several managers in probably the worst period ever, like I said, since I was born. I can't have Spursy winning. I won't. I'll lose my mind if Spursy win. You're going to see Hall of Fame, astronomical, universal, galactic head loss if Spursy win that final. And here's a couple reasons why. So Mikel Arteta, it's not just his fault. Yeah, we'll get to Mikel after I say this. Who sacked Unai Emery? Who appointed Mikel Arteta? Rookie manager. Never once was a first team coach, let alone a manager of a football club. Who gave him £750 million to spend? Who runs generational PR? Josh and Stan. Cronky Sports and Entertainment. They're the problem. And I'm not absolving Arteta of any wrongdoing. He's a shit manager. The directors, why do you think Edu and Vinay left? And now Vinay went to Spursy. Our former CEO, who said top four is fine, didn't give a fuck about trophies. Now he's on Spurs. He went to Spursy, hired by Daniel Levy and Enoch. What the fuck is going on? But KSE is the major problem because Josh and Arteta are like this. That's why. And it's a major problem. And also the fan base. I mean, a lot of the real YouTubers and the content creators, that's why I follow them, because they speak the truth. They know that Arteta has a heavy influence. However, it's really just the grand scheme of the whole thing. If you take a bit bigger picture, if you just zoom out and you look at the wide scope of what's happening, it's more a problem with American ownership, even though Liverpool won with FSG owning it. But let's be real, they have elite players and they had one of the best managers in the world. They weren't playing these games of PR, dropping merch every 3 weeks and all that nonsense. Ballot systems, Vivid Seats, Ticketmaster, raising season ticket prices, selling merchandise for astronomical prices. They were partially part of it, but the one thing you could say with them is at least they put football people in the right places to be successful. Whereas Proper Chelsea, Arsenal, and United, it's all just a money making model, and which is why there's no trophies. Look at this stat. Where is it? Look at this goddamn stat. Since Arteta's been appointed at Arsenal, December 2019, Man City have been to 8 cup finals. They've won 4 Premier Leagues, but we're not even going to talk about the domestic league title. Let's just focus on the cups, the domestic cup and European trophies. They've been to 8 cup finals. Chelsea have been to 10 cup finals. 10. Spursy have been to 2. This is all including this year, by the way. United have been to 5, and Liverpool have been to 7. That's 32 cup finals since Arteta has been appointed. Arsenal has been 1. Once in this entire time at the club, and that was during COVID at an empty stadium where no fans saw the FA Cup. Won the FA Cup, no one, not a soul in the stands. That's the only final. Chelsea have been to 10 finals in that same time frame, from December 2019 till May/June 2025. And I'm supposed to rate this manager and this board of directors and this recruitment team and this sporting director and these players. Some nasty, nasty work that's being done at that football club. How far we've fallen. So Man United, Chelsea's in the Conference League final. Absolutely destroyed your garden, the Swedes, the Swedish garden, the Swedish back garden team. Destroy them. United beat Bilbao, which is a decent team in La Liga, 7-1 on aggregate. 7-1. Light work. And then you have Spursy, who also won. I don't even know the score. I don't even fucking care. I don't fucking give a shit. And I'm supposed to rate Arteta. Trust the process. It takes time. He needs all his pieces. He needs to shop for his groceries. If you're going to let him cook, let him shop for his groceries. Yeah, he's cooking nothing. He's cooking food poison. That's what he's cooking. Undercooked, overcooked, you're going to be in the toilet all night long if you're going to eat what Arteta's cooking. Man's not cooking. He's reheating expired frozen dishes. That's going to put you in the bathroom for 24 hours straight. That's what he's doing. That's what he's fucking doing. He ain't cooking. He ain't using pots and pans and spices. He ain't using any of that. He's taking something out of the freezer, sticking it in the microwave. That's something that's been expired for 2 years, or 5, I should say 5 years now. Yeah, 5 full years. And he's feeding it to you. And you're still eating it. 70 years with no Champions League / European Cup. So there's a technicality there. The Cup Winners' Cup, I would say, still counts. But 70 years without the Champions League trophy. The UEFA Cup, which is the second level of European continental competition, never won it. 32 years since the League Cup. The EFL League Cup. Haven't won it in 32 years. The Premier League title, haven't won it in 21 years. The Football Association Cup, the FA Cup, 5 years ago, like I said, during COVID when no one was there. Now, that being said, it's not all his fault. The captain is an embarrassment. Martin Odegaard is the worst captain in the Premier League. I'll have that conversation with anyone. In terms of being a captain, he's not the worst footballer in the Premier League. He's the worst captain. No leadership. He hides. He gets worse the bigger the situation, the more significant the moment, the bigger the game. He progressively gets worse. Exponentially gets worse. Bukayo Saka playing with one hamstring, can't really blame him too much. He was actually half decent with one hamstring. The goalkeeper, he's a little dodgy because but that's more on the manager. That's more instructions on the manager for him to go running out all the time. Sorry. Why is this man on the halfway line? Why is the goalkeeper on the halfway line if it's not the 98th minute and you need an equalizer? Why is he regularly there throughout the game? We're signing all these players that are just basically Mikel Marino, Calafiori, that are basically models because we drop merch every 3 fucking weeks. So we have fashion models and like um a clothing brand. That's what Arsenal Football Club has become. A modeling agency for good-looking young players, fashionable, trendy, in vogue players that people online are drooling over, and a clothing brand, a luxury clothing brand. We just dropped new merch right before the Champions League exit. And then I bet you in 2 or 3 weeks, there'll be another merch drop for the end of the season. We've worn about 8 kits this year. I think it's close to the record. I think who has the record? Chelsea might have the record 1 year, which says something about Chelsea too. They finally got a front of shirt sponsor. Finally. It's May, you know. So someone please explain to me why I should rate this manager and I should rate these players when every time it matters and it gets to the end of the season, it's a capitulation. The team folds. And don't give me the excuses about referees and injuries and all that other nonsense, that bullshit. Every team goes through the same thing. Every team gets bad referee decisions go against them. Every team has injuries. Every team in world football. But for some reason, that's always the excuse. It's either the weather, the referee, VAR, the PJMOL, the other team was cheating, the other team hurt our players. Oh, if we just had this happen, oh, the grass is too high. Yeah, what happened to the 115 Chargers for Man City with having one of them being the grass is not cut properly? No one's mentioning 115 anymore now that Man City is not winning the league. How about that? It's always it's always something else. It's always the fans weren't loud enough, which they aren't because Arsenal, just like Stamford Bridge and Chelsea and Manchester United, the real fans are priced out now. It's a corporate playground filled with empty suits and influencers and celebrities. Those are the only people at the game. The real fans, there's probably, I would say, 25% of the stadium, of the ground, is filled with the real fans. Everyone else is either a tourist, a corporate empty suit, a celebrity slash influencer, or I just mentioned it earlier. Why am I losing it? Fuck. It could, or new, or yeah, the away fans, or an away fan. So 75% of the seats are either just like clients getting taken out for a day out, the away fans, celebrities, why can't I say that fucking word? Celebrities and influencers, and uh, uh, it's just like the tourists that are just there for that one day. And then I would say the other 25% of the real fans. At least that's how it is at the Emirates. Stamford Bridge as well. United might be the ratio might be a little different. Um, I don't know, like Anfield, I feel like it's mostly Liverpool fans, like the proper Liverpool fans. So the fan base is tapped because there are no fan bases. Arsenal sing that same song over and over again. There's either two songs that they sing. It's the Arsenal chant, or uh, we won the league at Old Trafford. We won at White Hart Lane. That one. Why do they? That's the only song they sing. It's that one and Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. Oh, what happened to all the other songs? And then if a player scores, they'll sing some just cheesy, corny player song, like the Kai Havertz one from the World Cup in South Africa, who Shakira covered from an African artist as well. I forget the name though. Yeah, like just tap. Then we got Arsenal fans online singing like Oasis covers for songs, Maroon 5. It's just so embarrassing. We have the worst fan base. It's one of the worst fan bases in world football because everything is just a day out. It's just a social gathering. It's just people that just want to have a nice day out with their friends. I've said this countless times already. I sound like a broken record throughout this channel for the last 16 goddamn episodes. It's fucking ridiculous. When is everyone gonna wake up? I've been saying this shit for so damn long. Nothing will change until the fans start putting pressure on the ownership to change this model that's based on this private equity hedge fund conglomerate consortium type model, which is purely designed to make money. Chelsea are suffering from the same thing. So are United. But at least somehow Chelsea and United are still winning trophies. Chelsea still won the Champions League, Super Cup, Club World Cup 4 years ago. If United win the Europa League, this could be the third straight year they win a trophy. The worst United team in the history of the Premier League era couldn't win a trophy 3 seasons in a row, and Arteta hasn't won anything in 5 years. Nothing. Like what more do you need to hear? And then another thing. Let's talk about Leicester City. I love Leicester City. I love their fans. I have close friends that are Leicester fans. Leicester City have just as many trophies as Arteta since he's joined. Yeah, they beat proper Chelsea in the FA Cup in 2001. They have just as many trophies as Arteta, and they've been relegated twice. Not once, twice. And they have just as many finals appearances and trophies, like major trophies, as Arsenal Football Club. How? And I don't dislike Leicester. I actually like the fan base and the club a lot. They're going through some hard times right now, but they've been relegated twice, and they have the same amount of finals appearances and the same amount of trophies. as Arsenal Football Club in 5.5 years. Deep that. Think about that. It's just unbelievable. So should we talk about SmackDown a little bit? Sister Abigail is back. She's back, baby. But otherwise, it's like Backlash. Backlash, the card at Backlash tomorrow. It's not really that great. The Becky Lynch Lyra Valkyria match should be good. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. That's probably just going to be spectacle. The actual match itself, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But there are rumors that there will be a comeback. Mm-hmm. There might be someone might be coming back for that one to help out old McAfee, who actually changed my opinion of him. I didn't like him at first as the color commentator, but he's changed me, and I'll hold my hands up. He's done well. And then who else do we have? What else? Yeah, all right. So the Knicks, another thing. We can talk about the Knicks for a little bit. So the Knicks play tomorrow. We're up 2-0 in the series. Very, very good 2 wins in Boston. I love mudding the Celtics. But what impressed me the most about the 2 games is the defensive play. So both games were, in terms of today's NBA, which I don't really watch the NBA anymore. I only watch Knicks playoffs games. But all the scores are 130 to 116, 129 to 125. There's some games where it's 150. It's not even going to overtime and teams are scoring 160 points. We're going back to Pat Riley, Jeff Van Gundy defense, where no layups. You go for a layup, you're getting put on the ground. And no one's helping you up. If you help up an opponent, you're getting fined by the coach. I want ferocious, vicious defensive football, New York basketball. That's what we want. Remember the old school song, "Go New York, go New York, go." That's when we were just, if the Knicks weren't going to win the game, they were going to win the fight. We're talking about Derek Harper, John Starks, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Anthony Bonner, Patrick Ewing. Yeah. That's what I want to see. I want to see smothering, monstrous defense. And that's how we're beating the Celtics. We've allowed under 100 points both games. We keep them under 100 points, we're winning the series. I'm telling you right now. I'll say it with fucking chest. But we got to keep them under 100 points every game. That's the only way we'll win. If you get into like that's what the thing with the NBA now. It's like it's all about like offensive innovation. And I like that Thibodeau is one of the last coaches. He might be the last coach now that salute Greg Popovich, who's retiring. Probably the best coach of my generation. Not probably, is the best coach of my generation. He's gone. He stepped away. It's already been announced. It's official. He's having some health trouble. So I hope you get well and you live a happy and you enjoy your retirement, man. Best coach of probably the last 30 years in all of professional basketball. But yeah, we're winning with staunch, like just colossal defense. That's what I want to see. That's the way we're going to win, because we're not going to have anyone that can outgun Boston. We need just to keep the score low, and we always have a chance. And look what happened the last two games. Anything can happen in crunch time. Anything. That's really when it matters in the NBA. The fourth quarter. The Celtics had 20-point leads early in the game. That shit doesn't matter anymore. The fourth quarter is what's the most important in the NBA. So yeah. Then so let's talk about the Knicks fans then. The Garden is going to be not crazy because, like I said, it's suffering from the same problem that's now seeping into football, which is the Garden tomorrow is going to be all celebrities, rich people, corporate assholes. That's the crowd. That's why the atmosphere in American sports is dog shit. We've talked about this several times. Once again, I sound like a broken record. But what's going to be good is outside the Garden on 7th Avenue. Yeah, that's going to be fun. And if we win that game, New York on a Saturday night after the Knicks go up 3-0, you know what's going to happen tomorrow. Whew. Yeah, give me a Ric Flair. Woo! That's all I have to say. I don't have to say anything more. It's gonna be scenes. But another thing I want to say about the Knicks fans is we haven't won a championship in fucking 52 years. 1973. We need to pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not trying to say that you can't celebrate all these wins and this. Even if we win tomorrow, we're still 9 wins away from the title. So all this, like, yeah, have fun, but realize that if you're going to behave the way some of the Knicks fans are behaving, you're going to receive flack from other fan bases and just the media in general, which is already happening. From what there was a video of the Knicks fans in Boston, they wouldn't leave the stadium, and that video went like semi-viral. But you got to realize that you're gonna receive some like criticism for the way you behave. Now, I'm not trying to say you can't have fun, but you also have to realize that they've won 18 more championships. I mean, that has to matter, dude. You can't just behave the, in as if we've been the best team in the league for the last 50 years. In fact, we've been a complete embarrassment. New York City's meant to be the mecca of basketball. That's what it's called. The Garden is called the Mecca, and we haven't won a championship in 52 years. What's going on? And I tell you, you know what the problem has been since 1997. At least since 1997. The other 24 years, I can't help you with. That's before my time. Except 1994. I remember 94. But I can tell you who the problem's been the last 28 years. They'll get theirs. It's coming. It's coming, people. I know I keep teasing this. I keep tickling balls. But that's a pause. That's a major pause. Major pause. But it's coming. That episode's coming. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Probably when everything dies down a little bit and all the playoffs are over and then the football season is over. I love it. I love this shit. And hey, MSG Corporation, MSG Sports. Listen, man, I got nothing to lose. I'm not doing this. Shut it down. I'll just say the same thing. I'll just go on, make another channel, say the same shit. We're coming. So yeah, so I'm proud of the defense the Knicks are playing. We're playing well. All right, let's before we wrap up, I think this game is over. Yeah, it's 3-0 Winnipeg in the third period. They should have it. But hockey is so crazy and cool, like anything can happen. We've seen some wild comebacks this year in the playoffs. All right, let's talk about this dude Bill Maher. So the monologue was about wait, hold on, let me get this is fucking brightest shit. Um we got the monologue was that there's a lot of Pope conclave jokes. I used to be Catholic, but gave that up 20 years ago. Not interested anymore. So the new Pope really I know is a big global story, but I'm not interested in religion anymore. Bill had a couple of good jokes about Catholicism and the Pope. And then Trump with the dolls, like only people you don't need $30, you can have $4. That was a weird interview, man. And then he's talking about pencils, how many pencils people should have. That's crazy. But the joke about Belichick's girlfriend was funny. So yeah, everyone go check out Real Time with Bill Maher. Just honestly, regardless of genre on television in any way, shape, or form, one of the best shows on television. And then the 1v1. Oh, we got some afters. The 1v1 interview was David Hogg. He's a young up and coming politician. He's now the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. They were talking about like the cost of healthcare for elderly people, and even with Obamacare, it's still kind of, and it's unfortunately his father passed away because he legitimately couldn't afford the care he needed, and it didn't want the Hogg family um, didn't want to bankrupt their entire like familial wealth. They did as much as they can, but he said it cost $19,000 a month to care for him. Like, hold on. Now I got a couple of things to say. We can put the book down. It costs $19,000 a month to try to like cure this man and make sure he gets better so he can return to a normal life. $200,000 a year. Like, who's getting all this money? Who's pocketing all this money? I'll tell you who it is. You know the big four. We know the big four. If you know, you know. We've talked about them before. We've named them and shamed them before. Dude, we'll do it. We're gonna do an episode about them. Oh, don't you worry. Don't you worry. That it's just ridiculous that it costs that much. And I think he was under like the Affordable Care Act, and he still was paying that much. That's wild. And then when they saw that, I'm not saying the lack of money was what caused him to pass away, but um, I think it was the fact that they knew, and this is a really tough decision for a family to make. They knew if they kept going, all these payments would have been in vain. That's at least that's the way David framed it. I'm going by what he said. Like from now, like before was my opinion, but now this is what directly from him. He's basically saying like they were worried about the family's financial health, and they knew that there was a certain threshold where he wasn't going to make it anyway. But still, like then the the monetary, like the numbers are astronomical, and it's so jarring. It's just so sad. So bless up David Hogg. And then they were talking about like, so obviously elder care is a big topic for him, and he was talking about social security, which makes sense too. And then he had an interesting thing they talked about was the young voters. So there's young voters. How do the Democrats recapture the young voters after what happened in the last couple years? So they go into that. For me, I think you got to start getting away from lecturing everyone and this air of moral superiority that the Democrats have. Because like I always say, I consider myself liberal, like more in the center, but left leaning centrist. That's what I would call myself. Um, and but I'm still like there's the extreme left that wants everyone to feel guilty and feel sad about everything and be lectured. You got to lecture everyone about everything, and everything has to be some kind of grand gesture of moral superiority and charity and all this. Um, it's like performative. There's a word for it. There's like an internet word for it, like performative giving or something. You can correct me in the comments. Performative something that needs to stop because you need to get because the Democrats used to own the younger demographic. That used to always traditionally be Democrat, all blue, and now it's like half and half. So that's a major problem that the Dems have to rectify or like recalibrate is the best word. And then the panel has Mike Lawler, who's a Republican, like um House member from New York, and Donna Brazil, the former DNC chair. And she's like a not consultant, not consultant now, and a strategist. She's awesome, man. She's a she's an old school Democrat, like a southern black woman from Louisiana. She's fantastic. Not only does she have a very likable and charming personality, she's very knowledgeable, she's intelligent, she's good at what she does. All around, the only thing is she said it herself too. She's like, I'm getting up there in age, or else I think if she runs, I'm voting for her. I'm telling you that right now. She's is and it's not just, oh, I like her personality, which I do, but she's also extremely intelligent and savvy and clever when it comes to like running the government. She's just unbelievable. And she makes, as you said, she makes a good gumbo. Oh, and anyone who's been to Louisiana, we talked about this on the Drex Life. So anyone who's watching, go to the Drex Life, DRAXX Life, subscribe and like the videos, comment, Chris Corvo, support the channel. I'm a panelist on that show along with Joseph Mark. As for this channel, I don't give a shit because this channel could get shut down at any time. I don't care about likes and subscribes and donations and comments. I mean, I would like to interact with people, but otherwise, I don't. Once those 2 episodes come out this summer, it's gonna be very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm not doing this. I have my job. I know I'm not doing this as a career. I don't give a fuck. That's why I say whatever I want. We speak the truth. So yeah, Donna Brazil is awesome. Louisiana, great place because it's a melting pot of African culture, Caribbean culture, American Southern culture, and the French influence as well, like the Western European culture. Very, very. And Louisiana is the coolest state in America. I'll say that right now, on air, on camera. Louisiana is the coolest state. I wish I would have went to LSU. That's one of my major regrets in my life, either for undergrad or law school. I should have went to LSU for one of those. I stayed in New York for both. Damn it. But New York City as a city, better. You can't beat New York City. New York City is the best city in the world, hands down. I'm not even trying to be like be like obviously I have a little bit of like American New York City Bronx pride, but New York City is the best city on planet Earth. State, Louisiana. Without I'll say that without hesitation. So they were talking. So Mike Lawler and Donna Brazil were and Bill were talking about how like the Pope, what impact does the Pope actually have as a political, not political, as a religious figure now, and it's waning because people don't really go to church anymore. Although I've seen a revival of um, religious in not just Christianity and Catholicism, but also across all the religions. I think religion is kind of on the uptick across all religion. Not kind of, it is. If you look at the numbers, it is. But yeah, the Pope itself as a figurehead, I don't think people care about it that much anymore. He's American though. First American Pope, I believe they said. And he's from Chicago, I think. And then they were talking about, yeah, how do I feel about that? First American Pope. Like I said, I honestly, I'm not trying to be blasphemous, but I really don't care. I grew up as a Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I went to Jesuit school, which is even a more extreme form of Catholicism. So I know I was in it for 18 years. I know what happens behind the scenes. I was out as soon as I got to university. I was done. And AI, yeah, well, we can talk about that later this summer too. AI, they talked about AI stealing jobs from people and like manipulating people's finances. Yeah, that's going to be a big problem. That's going to be a big problem. There's that might be the biggest problem that we're not talking about. It's right there out in the open, and we're not actually. I think I said this on an episode a couple of weeks ago. We kind of know it's a problem, but everyone is just in denial and just ignoring it, which is interesting because it makes life convenient, yeah, but when all the manufacturing jobs are taken by robots and computers, where are these people going to work? Hmm? How are you going to make a decent living as a blue collar union guy when the factory is all robots and computers? That's a big thing. That's a big thing in America. And if we're going to bring if the goal is to bring all these manufacturing jobs back to America, who's that's there's a third layer to this shit cake. So if you bring them all back to America just for the robots to work it, what's the point? I guess you relieve, but at least you relieve the the violations that are happening overseas, which I get, fair enough. But the third layer of this shit cake is all these young kids want to be influencers. All these late teens, early 20s, they want to be content creators. They want to be social media influencers. They want to be Instagram models. They're not going to want to work in a factory on an assembly line for 12-hour shifts. Even if you offered the job to human beings instead of robots, they're not going to take it. I got to be a TikTok star. I have dance videos to record. I'm a gamer. We're fucked. And no one seems to realize this. Well, some people do, I shouldn't say that. But it's we need to wake up. And then the editorial was again about how young people in America are being let down by the left, because you could tell that Bill Maher wants the Democrats to come back and win the midterms and win the next presidency, but he also wants the liberals to stop being so weak and like morally superior. Like sometimes you got to make hard decisions. Sometimes you got to have a backbone. Like you have to realize and connect with the everyday American. it, the left can't just be New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, and then the Pacific Northwest, like Seattle, the hippies. I shouldn't say that. Seattle is a cool city. I take that back. But the Democrats can't just be Hollywood and like a portion of the tech industry, which actually moved right because the tech industry just goes where the populace is. um, but you can't. That's not an effective strategy. The Democrats need to start connecting with the everyday American people and realizing there's bigger issues than just the wars we're fighting abroad. Even though those are important, I know I'm not belittling that, but we need to let's fix our country first before we start fixing countries in the eastern hemisphere. Let's fix America first. I think that's all the general population is asking for. All right, that's it. We're done. This game is over. Hope everyone has a good night. Happy, healthy, successful, doing well, winning in life. We're out. I'll see you guys next week. And like I said, go to the Drax Life, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a follow, give it a share, comment, support Chris Corvo, and we're out. Salute.